"Oh," said D'Artagnan, "we don't now make war as we did formerly. Today it's a sort of diplomatic arrangement. Ask Planchet." Mousqueton inquired, therefore, the state of the case of his old friend, who confirmed the statement of D'Artagnan. But, he added, "in this war prisoners stand a chance of being hung." "The deuce they do," said Mousqueton. "I think I should like the siege of Rochelle better than this war." Then Porthos, meantime, asked D'Artagnan to give him his instructions how to proceed on his journey. 4 days," replied his friend, "are necessary to reach Blois, 1 day to rest there, 3 or 4 days to return to Paris. Set out, therefore, in a week, with your suite, and go to the Hôtel de la Chevrette, Rue Tiquetonne, and there await me." "That's agreed," said Porthos. "As to myself, I shall go around to see Athos, for though I don't think his aid worth much, one must with one's friends observe all due politeness," said D'Artagnan. The friends then took leave of each other on the very border of the estate of Pierrefonds, to which Porthos escorted his friend. At least, D'Artagnan said to himself, as he took the road to Villers-Cotterets, "at least I shall not be alone in my undertaking. That devil, Porthos, is a man of prodigious strength still. If Athos joins us, well, we shall be 3 of us to laugh at Aramis. That little coxcomb with his too good luck." At Villers-Cotterets he wrote to the cardinal, "My lord, I have already 1 man to offer to your eminence, and he is well worth 20 men. I am just setting out for Blois. The Comte de Laufer inhabits the castle of Bragelonne, in the environs of that city. Chapter XIII. 2 angelic faces." The road was long, but the horses upon which D'Artagnan and Planchet rode had been refreshed in the well-supplied stables of the Lord of Brachou. The master and servant rode side by side, conversing as they went, for D'Artagnan had by degrees thrown off the master, and Planchet had entirely ceased to assume the manners of a servant. He had been raised by circumstances to the rank of a confidant to his master. It was many years since D'Artagnan had opened his heart to any one. It happened, however, that these 2 men, on meeting again, assimilated perfectly. Planchet was in truth no vulgar companion in these new adventures. He was a man of uncommonly sound sense. Without courting danger, he never shrank from an encounter. In short, he had been a soldier, and arms ennoble a man it was. Therefore, on the footing of friends, that D'Artagnan and Planchet arrived in the neighbourhood of Blois. Going along, D'Artagnan, shaking his head, said, "I know that my going to Athos is useless and absurd, but still I owe this courtesy to my old friend, a man who had in him material for the most noble and generous of characters." "Oh, Monsieur Athos was a noble gentleman," said Planchet, "was he not? Scattering money round about him as heaven sprinkles rain. Do you remember, sir, that duel with the Englishman in the enclosure de Carmes? Ah, how lofty, how magnificent Monsieur Athos was that day, when he said to his adversary, 'You have insisted on knowing my name. Sir, so much the worse for you, since I shall be obliged to kill you.' I was near him. Those were his exact words, when he stabbed his foe as he said he would, and his adversary fell without saying, 'Oh, 'tis a noble gentleman, Monsieur Athos.'" "Yes, true as gospel," said D'Artagnan, "but one single fault has swallowed up all these fine qualities." "I remember well," said Planchet. "He was fond of drinking in truth. He drank, but not as other men drink. One seemed, as he raised the wine to his lips, to hear him say, 'Come, juice of the grape, and chase away my sorrows,' and how he used to break the stem of a glass." "And now," replied D'Artagnan, "behold the sad spectacle that awaits us. This noble gentleman with his lofty glance, this handsome cavalier, so brilliant in feats of arms that every one was surprised that he held in his hand a sword only instead of a baton of command. Alas, we shall find him changed into a broken-down old man, with garnet nose and eyes that slobber. We shall find him extended on some lawn, whence he will look at us with a languid eye, and peradventure will not recognize us. God knows, Planchet, that I should fly from a sight so sad if I did not wish to show my respect for the illustrious shadow of what was once the Comte de la Fère, whom we loved so much. Planchet shook his head and said nothing. It was evident that he shared his master's apprehensions. And then, resumed D'Artagnan, to this decrepitude is probably added poverty, for he must have neglected the little that he had, and the dirty scoundrel, Grimaud, more taciturn than ever, and still more drunken than his master. Stay, Planchet, it breaks my heart to merely think of it. I fancy myself there, and that I see him staggering and hear him stammering," said Planchet, in a piteous tone. "But, all events, we shall soon know the real state of things, for I imagine that those lofty walls, now turning ruby in the setting sun, are the walls of Blois, probably, and those steeples, pointed and sculptured, that we catch a glimpse of yonder, are similar to those that I have heard described at Chambord. At this moment one of those heavy wagons, drawn by bullocks, which carry the wood cut in the fine forests of the country to the ports of the lawyer, came out of a byroad full of ruts and turned on that which the two horsemen were following. A man carrying a long switch with a nail at the end of it, with which he urged on his slow team, was walking with the cart. "Ho, friend!" cried Planchet,